Downtown. Well, great attitude. His work inside, a big part of it, DA. Thanks. What a surge it's been for the Bucks at the top of the Eastern Conference last year. 60 wins, the most since 1981.
Right, and much like those teams from the 80s, they fell short in the end.
Again.
And that's been the rub with the Bucks is, you know, as you look back at so many years in a row, so close, couldn't do it. And then this last year against Toronto, you know, they win the first two. Game 3's double OT. And then all of a sudden, a week later, their season's over. So they've never quite been able to get over the hump since the days of Lou Alcindor.
The nice thing is, though, this team is making the mandatory steps, it seems, that all these teams eventually have to make to get to where they want to go.
Right. They're trying to keep the team together that they succeeded with last year. Sometimes when you have success, you think that you should keep that success together, and that can be dangerous because, really, I felt like that team underachieved. They lost to a Toronto team that they had just performed better than during the season. So what's that last piece that you need? And I guess the last piece for Milwaukee now is, can Giannis be the closer? We haven't seen it yet.
Look at Cleveland's starting group. Garland and Sexton man the backcourt. Ashman and Love are the forwards. And it's Drummond in at the center position. And for Milwaukee, Middleton and Giannis are the forward tandem. The backcourt comprised of Bledsoe and Matthews. And it's low. In at the pivot spot, Manning.
Wait.
In the middle. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, you know, built 3 seasons ago, passing Kareem for most triple-doubles in Bucks history.
The Bucks to get Kareem and Giannis even in a 40-year span is pretty great.
Oui.
Shocking.
Giannis has a chance to be like one of the best 30 players ever.
You're impressed. You like him.
I think athletically he is unparalleled. It's really like the people I've seen in person, LeBron, Westbrook, Giannis, there's just certain guys that have a different level of athleticism that you're kind of like, these are humans, right? And he's one of those guys.
Here's Garland, following the basket by Chris Middleton, and he commits the intentional foul.
Really no idea why you're fouling in a situation like that. You know, maybe there's some bad blood between those two.
And so just over a minute and a half played. Pass to Osman. And here's Love. Down to 5 on the shot clock.
Just one made field goal in 5 tries. Not a good start.
Great D that time for Middleton. And the slam dunk by Antetokounmpo.
Well, just an easy hoop, all set up by the passing instincts of Eric Bledsoe.
For Cleveland, they've gone just 1 for 5 from the field to start the quarter. Here's Garland. He's playing a pretty big role for him at the offensive end, averaging about 12.5 points a game.
He couldn't believe how open he was. He just couldn't convert it.
Will, you host your own podcast. I've listened to it. I subscribe to it. I love it. What do you make of so many NBA players now doing the same thing?
Hey, we have a couple of them. At the Ringer, we have J.J. Redick, and we have Vince Carter and Ken Bazemore. The ones that are good at it take it seriously. It can't be one of those things where, you know, a player says, you know what, I want a podcast, and then it just magically happens. And you got to work on it. You have to use your connections and book your guests, and you have to be candid on the podcast. You can't just show up and just babble. And the guys that have been successful at it are people that could probably have a media career for a living. Like JJ is clearly going to go into media after he retires. Richard Jefferson had a great podcast. He's gone into media. He's really good. Yes. So I think you need a little more talent at it than people realize. And you need the consistency of it. You can't say, I'm starting a podcast and then not do it for 2 months. Like, you have to really stick to it.
Kumbo.
Guys, we're lucky to get to watch two of the league's most outstanding rebounders on the same court here today.
About 3 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Garland, the pass to Drummond. To the paint. And the dunk by Love.
Oh, guys, Love leaves no doubt with the finish on that one.
Holy shit, wait. Sebenarnya
And it's Antetokounmpo with the ball. He'll bring it up for Milwaukee. Pass to Middleton. Indeed. Milwaukee getting another chance here. And here's Matthews from the arc. The shot, no good.
no good.
The Cavaliers trail by 4. Bill, do you ever think we're going to eliminate conferences in the NBA playoff seeding?
I think that they would have done a 16 seed no conference playoff format years ago. I think they're really worried about the travel though. And they've looked at it and they've really studied it and they've looked at the effects of, let's say Boston plays Portland in round 1 and you're flying 3,100 miles or 3,200 miles in 3 time zones and all that stuff.
Nice.
And it's a 2-2-1-1-1 series. What is the effect on the team if it goes 7? I think they're really afraid of it. I wish they did it. I don't like the conferences. I don't really understand them. And over the course of NBA history, they've been really confused by the conferences. I wrote about this in the book of basketball, where we had years where San Antonio was playing in the East for a while, and Baltimore was in the West, which, go look at a map. Baltimore being in the West is ridiculous. Baltimore was in the West and Philly was in the East, and they're like 50 miles away from each other. So they've never really 100% figured out the conferences, and I just think the 1 through 16 makes more sense.
It would sure be better basketball. Now here's Porter. George Hill missing his last shot. And the man slams it in.
Well, the 2018 NBA dunk contest winner, you can see why there.
Milwaukee's gone 0 of 2 from deep here. Here's Hill. He's off on that one. And it's the Cavaliers taking it the other way. Outplayed in the previous game on their schedule, losing to Chicago.
You got to give them an A for effort. Just fell a little bit short in that one.
If they're playing in their own building, they probably win that basketball game. Reality is it's a hard thing to win on the road in the NBA.
Another shot. Lopez with the block.
You know, it's blocks like that which make Lopez such a factor in the paint.
Now we have a moment to look at how the blocks have been stacking up over the past several months for Drummond.
We're just not seeing that same fierceness out of him defensively these last few months. He's lost a little bit of that intimidation factor. He's not blocking as many shots, and he's not making the same impact on that end of the floor.
What a story Larry Nance Jr. is, guys, because at 16, this is a young man who was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Remarkably, it didn't slow him down. This guy has become a great role model for kids everywhere. Control the disease with a very strict diet. That's what he's done.
As we get a break in the action now, let's take a look at the East and how the teams are stacking up. Look at Milwaukee. They've got their eye on the #1 seed as the season moves into the final stretch. Currently first place in the standings, and guys showing no signs of letting up. And of course, there's the Cavaliers. They're much further down in the standings right now.
And I think for Milwaukee, they've come through for their fans this season. All the optimism surrounding them, all the high hopes, all proved to be legit.
Well, how about the momentum they have built to get off to this fantastic start? All positive vibes right now for this group.
The Cavaliers trail by 3. Over to the wing. Windler. Here's Thompson. And that's good. A nice job at the glass as they pick up 2 on the second effort.
And they have a narrow edge here in rebounding early on, and you wonder what kind of a role that's going to play moving forward.
Here's DiVincenzo. He's been patient so far, nothing on the scoreboard yet, and the turnover again by Milwaukee. They couldn't put the pieces together, losing that last matchup with Boston. There's 21 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Here's Windler. Out left to the wing. There's Garland. And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. Bucks lead by 1. And don't go away. We'll be back with the action for the start of the second quarter in just a moment. And pronouncing Giannis Antetokounmpo's name correctly.
The worst I've ever heard was my rookie year. A guy called me Antetokounmpo.
And the mosquito, definitely not a good comparison for Giannis.
Yeah, more like a condor. But that last name certainly has a lot of people looking for nicknames.
And close game underway so far. We'll see if either of these teams can jump out in the second quarter. And what stands out to you from the Bucks in this one?
Well, they use the fast break to generate some easy buckets before the defense could get set.
And we know this. Every team in the league now seems to be looking to play with pace.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade as the second quarter gets going. And Milwaukee looking at who they've got. We've got Ilyasova. He's out there with Robin Lopez. Kyle Korver is out there with Hill. And it's DiVincenzo in at the shooting guard. Porter, no luck.
Boy, that's too easy to miss, but somehow he finds a way to do it.
I'm a fan of anybody who defends that way. I mean, they weren't about to open the door and just allow him to cruise in for a layup.
Milwaukee in the lead. Bill, if you were building a franchise from scratch, which one current player would you begin with or build around?
Probably Giannis, because he's
Still
turning
young enough
25 this year. I still feel like the ceiling of what he's going to do is go up as he becomes more of a shot maker. He's really durable, which I think is underrated. Like, he's just built to play basketball. There's certain guys like that. I think Kevin Garnett was like that. Tim Duncan was like that. Just guys who you just know are going to be around for 17, 18 years. The way I like to watch the running styles, and the game just comes so easy to him. He's so athletic and really cares and is really competitive and just wants to do this and win at basketball. That's how I pick.
Outside for Korver. Fires from the wing. And the rebound goes to the Cavaliers.
The game has been very close in a lot of areas, but rebounding has been the one differentiator thus far.
And it's Bledsoe with the ball for the Bucks. Only giving up 2 points this quarter. Took him no time at all on that one. And it's 8 points for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Well, the versatility he possesses makes him a very tough cover, guys.
And Bill, when you yourself get out on the court, is there a play you try to channel or emulate, you try to visualize in your mind?
You mean when I'm playing pickup?
Yes, yes.
Oh, well now, at this point in my life, it's Davis Bertans. Is that how you say his name?
Davis Bertans.
Davis Bertans?
Yes. By the way, what a great stroke. I mean,
I emulate all stretch fours and don't
Yes.
guard anybody.
Yeah.
That's who I am at this point in my life. I run from three-point line to three-point line.
you stay in the perimeter.
Yeah.
Don't tangle up inside.
My free throw attempts are 0
Yep.
because I don't go to the line.
Just fire away.
And I want you to know I'm there to make an open jump shot. And don't ask me to do anything else, please. I'll set some picks.
Yeah. You are. You're a great
I'll
screen
set some
set.
picks.
You're a great pick and roll. No good from Bledsoe. For Cleveland, they've gone 2 of 6 from the field in the second quarter so far. Here's Sexton. Hits the jumper in space. Sexton's got his first 2 points of the night.
Well, Colin Sexton working this shot into his basketball game, such a critical aspect for him to have.
And here's Bledsoe. Nothing yet on the scoreboard for him. And here's Matthews, the 3. Andre Drummond grabs the miss. Cavaliers leading. In 2019, Chris Middleton named an all-star for the first time. Bill, can he be the second best player on a championship team? He was asked, I guess, to be that last year and didn't want to.
I think he could be the third best player in the championship.
Third, yes.
But I think you saw in the playoffs last year when they really needed the second kind of creator. I don't even want to say scorer, but somebody who could create a shot when your best guy is either sitting or having a bad game. He's just not quite there. He's too streaky, I think.
Terrific player.
Really good player. If he could definitely be one of the best 4 guys on the championship.
Absolutely.
But as the number 2 guy.
And Love throws